What's up, YouTube? MCohl48. I wanted to talk about the expected lifespan of the game and some of the previous formats that this game has been through. So if you guys don't remember, Cyberstein was actually one of the beginning, I guess, quote-unquote downward spirals, because DB2 reprinted the old guy from Shonen Jump. Everyone kind of lost their mind. I believe it was 06 to 07. People were trying to deal with it, and no one really knew what to do with Cyberstein. So the reprint of Cyberstein was the first benchmarker to people being dissatisfied with the game in terms of competitive play. Because you literally went from Goat Control to Cyberstein, and your mind would just be blown in terms of, you know, how things went. I mean, the game's been around since technically 03, 04 in America, so, you know, in terms of competitive play, there's always going to have to be highs and lows. The second low point, in my opinion, was Teledad. Now, there were two Teledad formats. There was the Dimensional Fusion version, which was just fugly as hell. And then there was your version, or Shadow Priestess of Om was in the same format. Oh my god, I hated that deck too. And then there was the Teledad format, which existed afterwards, which was the Synchro version. I believe that was also more of the era after Gladiator Beast kind of had their reign. But in that format, card prices were disgusting. I mean, like, Heraclenos was $300. Necroface was $250, not $2.50, $250. Soul Taker was $100. Magic Formula, $70 to $80. So you can kind of see card prices in that format just being ridiculous. And, you know, I know a lot of people really hated card prices being that fanatically high. But, like, to the people that didn't have a lot, it was good. Because you could go out and buy a pack of glass, pull the $300 secret, and you just drop a load in your pants right there on the Walmart floor. You'd just be like, like, I mean, I heard some pretty cool stories about people getting rich overnight, being able to build the deck that they wanted just because they pulled Heraclenos or Necroface. Or, you know, even pulling Dark Arm Dragon. So, hard card prices like that can kind of hurt. But, I mean, this was actually, I say this was the second downward spiral, but it was actually the first, because this was when Upper Deck was losing the rights to Konami because of the fiasco of them printing fake cards, and there was a short dissolution of organized play for, I believe, 6 months. It took Konami that long to rework the system that Upper Deck had and had destroyed. So it was actually kind of interesting not having organized play for such a long amount of time. A lot of people thought their cards were going to be worthless. And, you know, coming right out of the Teledad era, you're just kind of like, what do? So, coming out of the Dark Armed era, we go into Frog FTK. Haha. Now, Frog FTK, I say, was the third downward spiral to the game, because it actually opened the eyes to the newer generation to see how devastating Frog FTK was. A deck you could build for $40 max, like $20 budget, could just destroy everything in the game. And the deck actually was like a 70% fire shot to actually do its job, which was ridiculous. Now, I know the deck wasn't, you know, tier 0, but Shonen Jump Indianapolis that year was just devastating because, you know, the players that hadn't seen it coming. Same thing with Japan. This was a major eye-opener to Japan when they were designing the ban list that year, because Japan had never even seen Frog FTK. It was an American deck, and they were just like, what is this shit? So, it was an eye-opener to Konami in terms of, you know, what they need to do to make things, I guess, be improved. Whether or not it was a downward spiral effect, it definitely opened up their eyes to make better decisions. The fourth downward spiral would have been the Dragon Roller Spellbook of Judgment format. That was actually pretty recent. Now, I'm only saying that it was a downward spiral format because that was actually the first real taste that people got of tier 0. And it was actually fanatic to see the players that have been in the game for the last year and a half to 2 years just go, what is this crap? Like, there have been tier 0 formats before. Stein, Teledad, or Shadow Priestess. But tier 0 formats have to exist at certain points in the game's history. And if you guys don't know, the Spellbook of Judgment Dragon Roller format actually kind of set the precedence for the game to become separated between the US and Japan, which is primarily why we have different ban lists now. I would consider that format to be degenerate in terms of, you know, the bad effects that it had on the game, but it definitely opened up R&D's eyes to make a separate ban list. So it was bad for the players, but it was good overall for the community to go through the Dragon Roller spellbook format. Really in terms of upgrade. As for the expected life of this game, I would say we've probably got another 10 years in it. Konami's really stepped up their game as of late, and I would say that they've majorly improved on, the ban list. Things are separated now. The TCG and OCG are different. Konami America kind of stepped up their game. I remember, we were saying the game was going to end actually recently when the anime was ending for Arc V. And we didn't know what to expect in terms of new game mechanics, and then they introduced pendulums into the equation. And it brought a nice little sigh of relief into the game. I know Konami's kind of trying to hold back from making them broken, which is all fun and dandy, but, eventually there probably will be a Tier 0 explosion. In terms of card design, I think things have been improved a little bit. Noble Knights didn't quite go off the way they wanted to, but Burning Abyss definitely was a major eye-opener to the people, because no one expected that deck to actually come out of the floodgate and actually be good, and no one expected Astral Force to ever be good either, which was fantastic. Like, it's cool. So, in terms of the game, I would say we've got at least 10 more years in it. I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 more Tier 0 formats in the next 10 years if this game does last that long. But remember, I know a lot of you guys hate Tier 0 formats, but you guys have to understand that most Tier 0 formats are eye-openers. They're flaws in the company's design. And, the community needs to endure them. That way the game can be improved. The last one we went through got us a separate ban list from Japan. So I would consider that a hell of a trade-off, to be honest with you. So take things for what they're worth. Everything's worth it in face value. Whether or not cards are expensive, I know you guys hate expensive cards, but think of the people that pull them and make free money. And I mean, those rare cases are pretty good. So outside of that, give me your opinion, guys, on how you think the game, how long it will last. I'm not trying to say Yu-Gi-Oh's dying or anything. I'd say we're in a healthy format right now. We have the very steady Tier 2 basis of Bujin's Prophecies, things like that. Everything from last format that was Tier 1 got pushed down. Now we have Shadal's Burning Abyss and Stellar Knights kind of just sitting the presidents on top of the tower now. So it is major improvement, I will say. I like diversity so far, because when you play the game and you okay, there's a difference between playing the game and having the same decks exist. It's like having Gladiator Beast be relevant since 2008. Like, it just doesn't work. And that's kind of why I'm glad that the decks got recycled out with, the inclusion of the new decks. Like, I do hate diversity to a degree, but if I'm playing in a format for 3 months and I have to deal with one Tier 1 or one Tier 0 deck, like, that's fine. It's going to die at the end of the list. But having decks exist for a long period of time, like Dragon Rulers, things like that, existing for the same year, having the same format for the same year, even though sets are coming out and nothing's changing, that's bad for the game, in my opinion. And, a Tier 0 format for 3 months is okay. Because, you're going to get a change at the end of it. Konami's going to be competent to make the decision for you. And that's the nice thing with the new standard that they basically set. But having decks exist for the last 2 to 3 formats, nothing new to the game, that's why diversity can be bad, because going to an event, you're like, oh boy, I'm gonna play against Mermaids, I've been doing this for a year, like, nothing changes. It's boring. So, but that's the difference in my opinion. So guys, leave a comment down below on lifespan, and I'm out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please thumbs up this video to show your support, and please check out Vanguard 40 for Cardfight Vanguard, M-Kohl Games for miscellaneous trading card games, and No Limit Gaming for a brand new series of Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Thanks for watching.